All right, welcome back to It's Time Picks. Joey and I are back to go over this new fight. It's been a month. Joey, how you feeling?
I'm so much happier to fight you back on Saturday.
Oh man,
A
I cannot
month
wait.
seemed way too long.
Month is way too long for this, man.
Yes.
All right, well, let's get right into it since it's late. First fight we got on the card, we have Priscilla Cachoeira and Sahara Eubanks. Who you got, man?
So before I saw odds, I was like, okay, I thought it was a pick 'em, which that's what I think the fight should be. I thought, okay, first I went Eubanks because Priscilla's takedown defense is absolute trash. But then I saw the odds, how they had Eubanks at 2-1, which I do not agree with one bit. Do I agree she is more well-rounded? Yes, but her gas tank is terrible. So the only thing I'll say about this fight, like, do you gotta play it? Maybe, possibly. If Eubanks gets the takedown early and gets control, maybe she can get a TKO because Cachoeira is somewhat a fish on her back when she's stuck. But if it gets out of round one, this is only for a betting, not DFS. If you see a bet where you see Eubanks look tired on thing, smash the money line of Cachoeira. She, I don't think I'll say she doesn't have no quit. She comes out like a wild firecracker, and she could possibly finish the fight round two, round three. So to me, I want to say Cachoeira because first, we got to see how Eubanks even makes weight because it's questionable when she makes weight or not. But one thing I'll say better, I think she's the more tougher. But if you told me she had a better gas tank, I would be more confident with Eubanks. My slight lean is Cachoeira.
I'm gonna agree with you on the pick, but I'm gonna disagree on a lot of what you said. I don't know why the odds are in favor of Eubanks. I have no idea. It is just absolutely mind blowing. I am on Cachoeira all day. I think she comes out. I think she pieces her up, and her takedown defense has improved. She's only been taken down, I think, once in the last or twice in the last three fights, whatever it is, and she had to take down herself. So I absolutely love her as the dog. I love where she's at on DraftKings, FanDuel. I love where she's at in odds. I will play her.
7,400.
I will play her all day. I don't know why she is that low. She should be a favorite.
I don't know. I just don't like the odds. But I think the main time she was really taken down, if I'm right, is didn't she fight Gina Mazzani? She kept taking her down. Then Mazzani had like the worst gas tank break I've ever seen in my life.
Well, so
Like
she
she
took her
had,
down four times in that fight, and then she got, and that was, I think that was all in the first round, and then she just got
yeah, first
blasted.
round just boom, 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 boom. And we're like,
Yeah,
holy shit, Gina Mazzani might break the slate.
yeah, I
Then
remember that
the
fight.
worst gas tank fall I ever seen in my life.
Yep. And I mean, the only person, so the last in her last five fights, her only loss was to Jillian Robertson, and Eubanks is not anywhere near the wrestling or grappling as
Um,
of her. So
Wrestling, no, but she is her own decorated black belt, which I'll give her credit for that. But
all right, both of us going with Cachoeira.
DraftKings, I don't know. I gotta at that price tag, she can be down around. She can be down around and still score decently if she gets to finish.
All right, next fight we got Charles Johnson and Jimmy Flick, and the odds on this one, I think they should be way closer. I don't agree with Charles Johnson being that big of a favorite. He shouldn't be. His only path to victory in this fight is the knockout, and I don't think he gets it. I think Jimmy Flick comes out, takes him down, and submits him. The Jimmy Flick is another dog that I am all over, and I absolutely love where his odds are and his price is at.
So I've been on Charles Johnson for a while, but even before he got in the UFC, the only thing is I think he's more well-rounded. He has the better striking. He even has a better wrestling per se. Because for one, Jimmy Flick, he's more of a clinch, pull guard, do some wild jumping shit like he did against Cody Durden. Well, I want to see where Flick's head is because I'm gonna try to find some interviews. I'm gonna try to see how he looks on the scale. Because if Flick comes in here and legitimately rushes him, gets him in the clinch and gets him down, Jimmy Flick's the one that should fight round one. He
He's done
is
it three times in the
aggressive
last
as
four wins.
hell. Aggressive hell in
Absolutely.
BJJ. And if you want to do a prop bet, look at Jimmy Flick by submission, you'll still get some good plus odds. I don't know who I want to pick. My heart saying Charles, because I've been riding with his train since he came in. If Flick can't get a takedown at some point, I just see Johnson clipping him. So it's crazy. I'm gonna say Johnson, but Flick is in my underdog pool. I'm gonna see how my lineup looks. My head saying Johnson. My possible GPP lineup could be Flick, but parlays do not put Johnson in there. Just don't do it. Like coming from a Charles Johnson guy, don't do it because he could be your easy early parlay buster. All Flick gotta do is get a takedown.
Absolutely. So are you gonna stick with Johnson?
For now.
All right. So you're going with
Like,
Johnson.
out of a confidence pick, I'm not fully confident. Out of a 0 through 10, I'll give it like a 3.5, 4. Because I still think Flick is that's a dangerous country boy, man.
All right. Well, you're going with Johnson. I'm going with Flick. I love Flick all day. So I'm on back-to-back dogs to start this card off, man. And hey, and what'd you say? I nail the prelims all the time.
That's true. But this is one fight I just don't know. I gotta see how Flick looks on the scale.
Fight number 3, we don't really need to talk about it too much. We got Daniel Argueta and Nick Aguirre. Aguirre's making a short notice debut. I watched his tape. He's not all that impressive. He ain't bad, but I don't think he's ready for this fight. I think Argueta just smashes him.
So I'm on Argueta easily. Only thing I'll say, I watched some Aguirre tape. He is a good grappler and wrestler in his own right. Don't get me wrong, but he is coming in on short notice. Maybe if you give him like a half a camp or even a full camp, it could be more competitive, but I'd still be on Argueta. I think, Argueta's going to be chalk on DraftKings. He's going to be 8,600 chalk. So,
yep, absolutely.
I'm probably still going to play him.
This is probably one where you need to eat the chalk.
Yeah, this is a fight. I think either two things happen. He either gets a finish under 2.5 with takedowns, and the only thing I'll say about this, I think he's gonna. Both of them are actually almost like similar-ish when it comes to styles, because they don't waste their time striking. They was like, okay, I'll throw one little simple shot and I'm changing levels. So, hey man, Argueta does have a good wrestling background. Both of them actually do. Who knows? It could be like, who was that one guy that made debut when I was in Florida? And I think he lost late in the fight, but he went takedown for takedown for takedown. And he's gonna end up coming back and fighting again because he had a good fight. I gotta find tape on him, but it could be a similar fight. Either both good wrestlers, boom, see who gets takedown, or the only thing that scares me about this fight, what if the wrestling cancels? Low level striking means low level score.
Yep. I mean, so yeah, you could fade it for that purpose.
My head's still Argueta.
So,
but if you're playing big GPP, maybe multiple lines, if you want to get away from this fight for leverage, not a bad idea. But I think there's a finish somewhere, maybe under 2.5.
Definitely possible. All right, we're both going with Argueta. It's a pretty easy pick. Fight number 4, we have Alan Nascimento and Carlos Hernandez. Who you got, Joey?
I think, Hernandez is slightly well-rounded. I like Nascimento is a very good BJJ. I believe he trains with Charles Oliveira. He's not the best striker either, but he's at least someone that will bite down his piece and come forward with decent strike pressure. And I think whoever gets the first takedown, because Nascimento is comfortable everywhere, but I want to say Nascimento because I think he'll do a little bit more. But at a DK price, I'm not touching.
I'm going to piggyback on what you're saying because I agree. If you take a look at my article, I literally said that the fight should be closer. They have really similar skill sets. I just think Nascimento edges him everywhere it goes, even if it's just a tiny
I think Nascimento has more experience.
He definitely has more experience. He's definitely going to be the better grappler. The striking is definitely close, but the grappling, Nascimento is a world-class grappler. So I lean Nascimento. I could see him finishing the fight early, which would, push him to value. But yeah, I mean, if this goes to a decision, then I'm not sure we see a score high enough for him to hit value.
I don't see this. This is a fight I'm probably going to get away from. because other 9K options, I'm like, okay, I think they can ease. I wouldn't say easily, but I think matchup base, I think I'm like, okay, I'll probably go for them. But
Definitely agree. All right, both of us going with Alan Nascimento. And now I'm going to butcher probably these next few names, but we have Matus Mendoza and Javid Basharat.
you go
I'll let you
first.
take this one. All right. So Mendoza, or however you want to say his name. I watched his
I
fight. He has some impressive tape. He comes out fast, he comes out hot, and he swings. The only problem is that he's going against somebody who might be the most tenacious person not named Ilya Taforia. And these guys, man, Basharat, when I watched him in his debut, because I went against him, man, did he surprise me. He is tough. He's fast. He hits hard. His game is solid. He is solid, and he is absolutely my pick to win this fight because I don't see him getting knocked out. I really don't.
So what I have, like, they're both well-rounded. I think Mendoza is the slightly more well-rounded, but Basharat, he's that dog, man. He's dangerous. But the only thing that can scare me about Basharat when it comes to his style, he leaves his hands down, which can scare me a little bit. So I say this: Basharat is the more talented. Easily, I say he's more talented. But Mendoza, I think he's more danger. He comes out wild as shit. His power is insane. And if any point Basharat leaves his hand down and Mendoza fucking catches him, he might put him out.
I
He
don't
just
know,
has
man.
that one touch killer power. I'm not
I've
saying he
seen
does, but
Basharat eat some shots, and man, I don't think he cares.
look, I think this dude has a weight class up power.
Yeah, I
I
definitely
think
agree
he's
with that.
like I think somebody could get finished mainly due. I think Mendoza is tend to be hittable with his wild style, and I think Basharat could potentially even get his first finish. I know they're saying, "Oh, his decision." He's okay. Gravely, he beat the better wrestler, Trevin Jones. Ideally, they had people saying Trevin Jones was a better striker. Yeah, that was absolute bull. But I want, I almost say, Mendoza's in my underdog pool for a deep GPP play because I think this fight finishes potentially under 2.5. I think the wildness of Mendoza is going to bring out that dog Basharat and somebody. I think somebody's hitting the floor.
That's fair.
As they say, styles make plays.
I mean, both guys are undefeated, so it's a
I'm not
battle
happy
of
with the matchup though.
winners.
I'm not happy they put this together so quickly.
Yeah, I can agree with that, but I'm definitely rolling with Basharat. I think he's gonna make it look easier. People are thinking, I really do. So both of us going with Basharat. Next we got Matus Rebecki and Nick Fior. I'll let you take this one first.
All I'm gonna say, I know me and Drake, we use the L word a lot. Not L for love, but L for lock. Rebecca's a lock. There is no chance in a bat of hell. Don't get me wrong, that Fiore kid is good. He's a good grappler, BJJ. Short notice, but there's a thing I called levels. Rebecca's a mean. Don't be shocked if this fight's finished under 1.5.
It probably will finish very early.
And I expect Rebecca to come in aggressive. He doesn't have, the ideal best striking, but he's more wide and he throws wild overhands to connect with insane power. I think he's going to try to throw overhand. He's going to shoot for a mean blast double. He's a guy that's going to get positioned before anything. Once he gets positioned, he's either put an arm on your neck or he will Donkey Kong the living hell out of you until you finish.
Now,
To me,
I
he's the
completely
lock.
agree.
He's my favorite play on the card. Easy 9.4. I don't know his price on FanDuel, but Rebecca will definitely be one of my locks in the card.
I will say this. I completely agree. I'm all for him, but Nick Fior has 6 wins, 6 finishes, all in the first round. So this fight is likely going to end in the first round. And if for some reason Rebecca makes a mistake, he can capitalize on it.
The one thing I was scared about that, but I think Rebecca's just going to Donkey Kong him. Fiore, like I said, all finishes round one. If he shoots one bad shot, all he needs to do is grab the neck.
Yep.
And that's the only,
Absolutely.
I'd say, one worry I have. But I think Rebecca's make it look easy. Just make it like, hey, young man, levels.
I agree with you. Both of us going with Rebecca. Pretty
Yep.
easy one there. This one is a lot of people torn. Abdul Razak Al Hassan and Claudio Ribeiro. I don't care what anybody says. I am on Al Hassan. I don't know why so many people are on Claudio. I really don't. Like you said, there is levels to this game. Al Hassan has faced a lot of good competition. He is still a good fighter. I think he is going to overwhelm him. I really do.
So I know how you said there's a lot of people on Ribeiro. I was on Ribeiro when he was on the Contender Series. That man made me bank. I cashed on him easy as hell. Do I think he's the better pure boxer style striker? Yes. But like I said, in the words of drowning pools, someone's body will hit the floor. I don't think it gets out of round one. So I'm going to say you got to pick your side. So whatever side you feel comfortable with in the price range, I'd say go for it. The only thing I'll say is Al Hassan is more well-rounded, but he does not use his judo at all. And the only thing that scares me, he leaves a tight guard, while Ribero's a taller, more rangy type boxer. I watched the Contender Series fight again this morning.
It ended fast.
He got power. And usually, I think this fight is going to almost be like similar-ish to how Al Hassan fought Chaos. Someone's going to come in aggressive. Someone's going to get hit with a mean counter. And someone's going to hit the floor. Could it be Roberto? Absolutely. Could it be Al Hassan? Absolutely. I think whoever puts their foot on the gas pedal first exchanges, someone's going to sleep.
I actually think that this makes it past 2 rounds, and I'll tell you why. So
okay.
if you watch the fight with Al Hassan and Buckley, Al Hassan learned something, and that was to use his wrestling, because he did in that fight. There was eight takedowns between the two, and Buckley landed some clean shots. Al Hassan ate them. So I'm not too worried about his chin in this fight in particular. Now, could Rebecca come out, or Ribeiro come out and, land clean right away? Yeah, absolutely. Do I think it happens? I don't. There's 71% of people votes on Tapology that are going with Ribeiro. I just don't see it. Al Hassan has faced better competition. They're both young fighters. He still looks good. Al Hassan has power. He's got wrestling, and I think that's what he's going to do. I think he is going to take this to the mat, and he's going to drag it out. He knows that going toe-to-toe is going to put him at risk, and I think he will wrestle. So I think this gets out into round 3, if not a decision.
If I knew that Al Hassan was going to be like, look, I'll strike when I need to strike, but if he goes, look, I'm going to go in and try to take this aggressive striker completely down. But what I've seen from Ribeiro, he has good takedown defense. He's athletic. I wouldn't say he has great takedown defense, but he has good enough takedown defense to his athletic ability.
Against low-level
good wide hips. Yes. If we know that Al Hassan will use his judo, my pick could be different. Could. But I don't know. I just think Al Hassan's almost going to have no choice to an extent. Because when someone's aggressive coming at you and your back's against the wall, you got to swing. Could that one swing knock Ribeiro out? Oh, absolutely. I think they both get the death punch. That's why I think the under could. But we'll see. I'm on Ribeiro because I think he's the better striker. But I'm not saying he's a lock, but he is one of them dogs where you play him, there's a good chance he smashes his value, especially if it's round 1.
That's fair. I'm just going to pull up the odds right now because I'm curious what that fight's at.
Last time I saw it was a pick 'em.
So UFC Fight Night, we have, it is a pick 'em.
It was minus 105, minus 115, I think.
That's where it is in most places. So Al Hassan, and as it goes betting odds, is the dog. He's the favorite on DraftKings, but
my sports book, Al Hassan's the favorite.
That's another dog that I'm riding with then, because I think Al Hassan's the better fighter. If I get surprised, I get surprised, but I think he pulls this off. He's my pick. So both of
I
us are
don't hate it.
split. You're going Ribeiro. I'm going Al Hassan. Now on to the main card. We got Umar Nurmagomedov and Raona Barcelos, and I hate this fight. I love
So
it,
do
but I hate
I.
it because I don't want to see these two fight. I want to see Barcelos against somebody else. Nurmagomedov, I'm getting tired of because all he does is just ragdoll everyone. It's no different than Islam Makhachev. So as much as I would love for Barcelos to do something in this fight, I don't see how he does it. He has a great game. He's got great grappling. He's got good striking. He can wrestle. But Nurmagomedov does all of that and more. So I don't see it going any different than Nurmagomedov's last fight. I think he gets multiple takedowns, controls, and wins the decision.
Like I said, I wasn't happy when I saw this about this fight. I don't agree with the odds. I don't. I'm sorry, don't wrong. I think Nurmagomedov is the more talented on paper, possibly even with a brighter future per se. But the odds are disrespectful.
They
They
are
act like
plus
Barcelos like
675
a
to
bum.
Barcelos. Yes, they are. And
They act like he's a bum. He's not a bum.
no, not at
The
all.
only
Not
thing I'll say about this, one thing you forgot to say about Barcelo. You could say competition, whatever. He has a 93% takedown defense.
I don't think that matters against
I don't think it's not going to matter
Nurmagomedov.
necessarily either, but I do have one worry. Some people say it is a worry, some people not. You know who also was in his corner, right? In Nurmagomedov's corner? Khabib.
Yeah, no, and he's not gonna be.
My
Although
main worry is I want to see
he
how the corner work is going to be be with them.
I bet he comes
Because
to this fight.
he was just a Khabib. He might have Makhachev in his corner possibly. So who knows?
He might still
I
come
am
to
worried.
this.
Like
This
when I
could be
saw
his last
that,
one.
no, Khabib's not in coaching.
I know. Well, I know that he said he was retiring, but I wouldn't be surprised if this was his last fight because it was already booked. So
We'll see. Like,
does it say that he's not coming to it?
I know that he said he's done coaching, so maybe I think like he's not going to show up for this fight. Possibly, I don't know. I don't know what. I'm still shocked that he canceled his coaching because I think him coaching was tremendous. But I have a feeling like you're losing that big of a piece in your corner. Like, don't get me wrong, he can't fight for you in that octagon, but that has to take some type of hit and effect on you. But look,
Actually, so what I just found, Umar, he came out and said he's not surprised. We always knew, we always talked about it. He says he's not nervous. He's good. They talked. He gave him some advice about the fight with Barcelos, about cutting weight, and everything is the same. He just said he just stopped because of too many fights, too many travels, and he wants to be with his family. So Umar is 100% fine.
no, I'm fine. I just want to see. Like, I'm just worried because I know when you get separated from a big part of your corner, it can be like, oh shit, you might have to adjust a little bit. Yes, a little bit, but Barcelona is the better striker. I'll say that if you're telling me like, let's say Barcelona stops to take down, but I know Nurmagomedov he's going to keep going and going. He may strike with Barcelona for a little bit, try to get he has good kicks, that's good, but I don't. The only thing that does scare me, where I do believe Nurmagomedov could get the good amount of takedowns, Barcelos loves throwing his leg kicks. And he throws them hard.
Yeah, but you can't throw him if you're on your back the whole time.
Yeah, like okay, so if you have to think about this, over under 5 takedowns. I say under. I say he gets 3 or 4.
That's tough because it's all going to depend on if Barcelos can get up. If he gets up, then yeah, it's going to be more.
Of course, the pick's gonna be Nurmagomedov, but this is one fight where I'm like, I don't know. I think Barcelos could make it decent.
I would love for Barcelos to be able to take this, but Nurmagomedov he's gonna have the belt. I mean, it's gonna happen. He's ridiculous.
Yeah,
so,
he's talented.
Both of us going with Nurmagomedov. I would put him everywhere. I'll play him everywhere. Probably. It's risky not to, but
I'm trying to see how I can build my line. I currently do have a line with Nurmagomedov and Rebecca.
All right, moving on. Ketlin Vieira and Raquel Pennington. I'm gonna let you take this first because I have a surprise.
Are you ready? It's still more likely to be me during a fight. But no, serious note though. I think this fight. I'm hoping for this way. They're both good clinch fighters. I would love to see an entertaining clinch fight. Them just going back and forth, throwing punches. Because Raquel Pennington's never really in a boring fight. She bites down her mouthpiece and she comes and swings, win or loss. And most of her losses are from top contenders. Vieira, I got hate for this earlier. I think she's slightly overrated. You look at her record, split decisions, close decisions, She could pretty much have like 3 losses in the UFC. But the only thing I'm going to say, I know Pennington, she's had her personal life starting to get a little bit crazy. I know her and what's her name? Her girlfriend she's with, Chicha Torres. I think they're expecting a child soon.
They had the child,
take away from the trade.
or is she still pregnant? Do they have the
she's
child?
Still pregnant,
Okay.
I think she's still pregnant. But that could take away from a little bit, but I'm never a person to doubt Pennington. She's a tough chick. And I remember her first fight in Ultimate Fighter House. That was probably the most entertaining female fight in a striking brawl I've ever seen in my life. And this is where style makes fights. If Vieira's is going to hold her and hug, this fight could be absolute boring. That's what I'm expecting, though. A boring fight, close decision. I would love to see Pennington win.
Who are you going with?
Pennington.
So am I.
I can't. That's my girl, man.
I have Pennington. I did say that this is one of the tighter matchups on the card. But Pennington has completely reinvigorated herself. She looks great. 4 fights in a row she's won after having lost 3 or 4 to the, like you said, some of the top contenders in the UFC. Pennington, her last couple fights, man, she has looked good. And I think the baby only motivates her more. So I think she comes out hot. I don't think Vieira is going to be anything to worry about, really. Vieira has been in a lot of close fights. I don't trust her at all. I did take her against Holly Holm, and she did win that fight.
So barely. Did
I. But I just think Pennington is going to put her down on the mat and just crush her.
I hope she gets a knockout.
Or a submission. That'd be sweet.
That'd be great. Think about this. I don't know about DraftKings. I got to see how many lines I actually play. I'm not like you. I don't play a fuckload. But if I was to play, let's say like 2 lines, 3 lines, I can guarantee you can get some low ass ownership on Pennington. But here's the thing though, I know people usually say the 8-2 AK fight, usually one of them tends to get in the optimal per se. But
yeah, lately it has been. It's been almost it's been that way. And I think like 3 of the last 4 cards have had one of the female fights in the optimal line.
So if Pennington can make it fucking entertaining, this fight will go optimal. If Vieira has her chance, she's gonna make it boring.
I mean, even if Pennington wins with 80 some points, it was no different than 3 cards ago when what's her name won at 8,200 or 8,300 points and she scored 80, was in the optimal. So those middle fights are so important when it comes to this. But Pennington is the dog. That's another dog that I'm rolling with. It's a dog that you're rolling with. We both agree. Pennington to win.
I love Pennington.
You and I talked about this fight a little earlier. We got Soriano and Kopylov. This fight is as close as it gets. This fight should be a complete pick-em. I don't know what the odds are for it. Let me see.
I know Soriano is the favorite.
Soriano is the favorite, -162, +130.
Which I agree with the odds to an extent.
I can agree with that. Soriano is definitely the better fighter. It's just going to come down to if he looks, it's going to come down to how good he looks, because he can be very nonchalant at times, and it causes him to lose. He got destroyed by Maximov just because he couldn't get off his back. Now he doesn't have to worry about that really in this fight, because this fight should stay on the feet. But like you said, when we were talking earlier, he got outstruck by Brendan Allen, and Brendan Allen is a traditional grappler. So that part does scare me, but I think he learned a lot from that fight, and that's why he came out so quickly against Dalcha. Um, I do like Soriano in this fight. Kopylov worries me. I think he's fought 3 times in the UFC. His only fight was Dick Jericho. It's not really much of anything. Not that Soriano's won much, but this fight's close to me. I'm gonna lean Soriano. You got anything else on him?
Only thing I don't like about Soriano, he's most of the time he's a first rounder bust. That and his IQ does scare me. If you told me straight up, hey, I'm gonna go in there, I'm gonna wrestle the hell out of this kid. I'm a D3 wrestler. I would lock Soriano in a heartbeat. But does he always use wrestling? Absolutely not. And he's one of the examples of I'm a wrestler that fell in love with my power. Does he have good power? Absolutely. Does he still need to get more comfortable in the striking? Yeah, absolutely. But I'll say this right now. If he doesn't go for takedowns, Kabalov will catch him. I'm saying this right now. If he tries to go in there and entertain a striking fight, I know Kabalov usually low volume ish, but you've seen in fights where once he gets his range going, once he gets his combinations going, he can light people up. So it's all about Soriano. And I know I showed you how he had some kind of bacteria. Let's see how he looks on the scale type of thing. Because that thing looked nasty. That scar didn't look, I didn't like that scar on his underneath. But we'll see how he looks on the scale. He's still always a big muscular type of guy. I know he cuts around like in the mid 200s to get to 85. So it's like that shouldn't be too bad. But if he entertains a striking match, he will get TKO'd. I'm calling that right now. And he says, "Oh, I think I can entertain it. Entertain. This is a fight you don't entertain. If you want to keep on winning, because on paper, I think you are the more talented fighter, more well-rounded fighter. You go to your bread and butter, go for takedowns. Because I think you get knocked out if you try to entertain a 3-round striking fight. So with that being said, I'm on Kabalov. Because I think how Soriano is going to start, he doesn't even go for takedowns early. He acts like he's flat-footed, tries to throw hard. And I told you, I think there's a chance he's going to drop his hands, and Kabalov's going to hit him on a mean counter. And somebody is going to not even going to be like a bad knockout. It's going to be like a ref steps in, TKO. And they're both good finishers. So I'm going to go Kabalov. And if it's a mainly strike, I'm going Kabalov.
All right. So I'm going with Soriano. Are you sticking with Kopylov?
Yes, sir.
All right. So another split there. All right. Oh, I hate this fight. Dan Ige and Damon Jackson. I am going Ige. I'm gonna ride with him because he has the competition that he has lost to is top tier. Damon Jackson is on a streak. They're all lower level fighters. I think eventually he runs into a buzzsaw. Ige is itching to get back in the win column, and I think he does it here. Jackson is going to be the better grappler. There's no doubt about it. But if he cannot get the neck of Ige, he is going to get knocked out in this fight.
I do agree with that, but I know how he does get most of his takedowns. It's not even off traditional takedowns. It's off scrambles, and then in the clinch, he tries to scramble for a takedown. But I know ideally Jackson has low offensive takedowns percentage. It's not that good. It's like in the low 40s. I think Ige could catch him. I know Ige's the undersized guy. Jackson, only thing that does scare me, I know Jackson is dangerous with his grappling. He'll find a way to get to it, but you've seen him get knocked out against Deportia. That was mean. I think Ige has more power than Deportia. I think it's close. Don't get me wrong. I think it's close-ish, but we've seen Ige throw one mean punch and the fighter goes down. But we've seen the same thing with Deportia. But that's a whole nother. That's actually a fight I wouldn't mind seeing Ige Deportia. That would be a fun little fight. But I think Ige is going to come out. I've seen interviews saying 2023, this is going to be my year. I'm going to bounce back. People aren't giving him credit. But all Ige's lost to is top tier guys. None against Jackson. I'm still not happy he beat my boy. Mr. Pat Sabatini the way he did. I wasn't happy with that one bit. But hey, I give credit when credit's due. He TKO'd him, which that shocked the living hell out of me. That haunted me a little bit. But I think there's a chance Ige comes in and just lets his hands fly. I love Ige.
Yep, I'm with you. So both of us going with Ige. I do like Ige everywhere, and that's betting and any DFS.
DraftKings.
I think he does get back on track in this fight. I really like him here. So both of us going with Ige. And now on to the main event. This main event should be a blast. Sean Strickland and Nasruddin Imavov. Man, I don't care if Sean Strickland's taking this fight on short notice. That dude is an animal. He is going to have an advantage on the feet, and that's where this fight's going to stay because I don't think he's going to get taken down too often. If he does, I've seen Strickland get right back up. I can see Strickland doubling the volume that Imavov puts out. So for me, I'm Strickland all day. If it goes 5 rounds, he's going to crush value again. And for me, that's that, especially because he's the dog on DK. I don't know what let's see what the odds are.
He is 7.
He's the dog
7.7.
So I think that is completely wrong. Sean Strickland should be favored in this fight. I am going to load up everywhere on Strickland. That's that.
The only thing that scares me about Strickland, of course, he got absolutely devastated against now the champion Pereira. He was being cocky. Oh, he's too much of a dancer, blah, blah, blah. I'm not worried about. Boy, he got flatlined terribly. It wasn't even funny. And I remember you picked Strickland that fight. And what happened? He got his, I'm not even say what I was going to say, but he pretty much got knocked the hell out.
Yeah, he played games.
I watched that fight twice today. The Cannonier fight I watched twice today. Some people said that they thought Strickland won. I see why Cannonier won. He kind of mixed the hands kicks. But one thing I noticed, like I said, I watched it earlier with my coffee. I watched it before you actually hit me up. I finished it. That's why I said I'll be there shortly. He got gun shy in that fight. He was letting Cannonier come forward with strikes. I didn't like that.
I'm going to stop you right there. Imavov has nowhere near the power.
No, the power, no.
And his pressure is not as good. Not anywhere close.
Good. Only thing I'll say is he has a full camp. That's fine. Yes. Well, they have different exchange. I think Imavov has more striking tools, but is he fluent with the striking tools? No. But you can see Imavov throw overhands, 1-2s, elbows. He's creative with his striking. Only thing I don't like about Strickland, when he gets gun shy, but he throws simple.
He likes that little 1-2, and
I give to him. It works though. It does work. I give to him. Short notice. I know Strickland's always there, but he pretty much said that he wasn't fully training, but he took the call because I'm Sean Strickland, which I do respect. That's one thing about Strickland. I like he'll fight any person, anywhere, any place. I don't agree with the odds, even because of the name value. Strickland is actually ranked higher. So I don't care if it's short notice. I don't care if it's anything. He should at least be like a minus 160, maybe a minus 175 type favorite. I'm not taking them with Imavov. I think Imavov's very good as well in his own mind, right?
For this. I got something else for you to chew on in this fight too.
Oh Lord.
Well, so Imavov and Strickland both typically fight at middleweight 185. They're at 205 in this fight, and Strickland has the advantage there completely.
Yeah, the size. Because Strickland actually cuts a good amount of weight to 85.
So I think Imavov is in a lot of trouble in this fight.
But the only thing I don't like when I was watching the last fight, you notice Strickland didn't talk much shit on Cannonier after he got humbled. And the only thing I didn't like what Strickland did, he pretty much called Imavov and the French soft and quitters.
I saw. But that's what he does. I mean, he gets in their minds,
But I don't like that. Ever since he was talking so bad on Pereira, I personally believe in karma. I believe in karma. I think Strickland, if it goes longer than 3, Strickland, I think he's going to slow down. Usually, I don't question his cardio, I tell you right now, if this was a full camp, I wouldn't even worry about his goddamn cardio. But the only thing I'm worried about, Imavov is a very good grappler. Is his offensive takedown the best? Not necessarily, because he mainly tries to close in, hug, then drag. I don't know if he's gonna do that. I'm gonna be able to do it early on Strickland, because Strickland is gonna be the bigger guy. You could even right now, he's gonna be the bigger guy. When you get in the octagon, Strickland's probably gonna be about 215, almost 220 by the time that fight starts. And but the only thing is, I think if he slows down Strickland, get the kicks going, I think there's a chance later on after round 3, 4, 5, when Strickland does slow down a little bit, like he did against Cannonier. But Cannonier was also constant, nonstop pressure. Imavov's on and off with the pressure, but I think if Strickland's going to slow down later, it's going to be a close fight. I think it's going to be this. I love this fight better than the Gastelum fight. I can say that with no doubts of facts. I'm slightly on Imavov. He's a good prospect. Full camp, which that is going to put some into it. If you told me this fight was full camp, I'll go Strickland. I just think Imavov he's more well-rounded. I think there's a chance he can get the fight.
He's never gone.
He hasn't gone 5 rounds
rounds
at all, and even in other
not in the
organizations.
UFC. Let me check real quick and everything else.
I just like Imavov, man. Like this kid, I think he's good. I'm not saying he's like, let's say a prime example, he beats Strickland. Strickland's what, ranked in the top 6? Right? I say Strickland's top 6. I know some people's like, oh, if you beat it,
he's never gone past 15 minutes. So this is completely
does he train
new.
Probably longer than 15 minutes? Does he go 25-minute rounds in training? Probably.
Yeah. I'm sure for this he did, but that's that's completely different than having to actually fight. And Strickland's done it a handful of times already. So you can say what you want about cardio.
I'm still probably going to be on Imavov. For DFS, this is a fight that you need to touch. If you want to go Strickland as a dog, I'm not going to say no. Imavov all depends on his game plan. But yeah, I'm going to stick with Imavov. I just like the full camp. He's more well-rounded.
All right.
I think the fight's going to be close.
So another split pick. I got Strickland. You got Imavov. That brings us to the end of the fight analysis. All right, well, I already know your lock because you already mentioned it. Your lock is going to be Rebecca. And I definitely
it's not even close.
I can't even get away from that. No. My lock on this card, you know what? I'm gonna go completely.
You're gonna do it, aren't you?
My lock is Strickland. Absolutely. Okay. I do not think Imavov has a chance in this fight. So that's where I'm at with that. Favorite dog? My favorite dog is probably Jimmy Flick. I love him in this fight. I think he's going to crush value. So Eddie, on top of that,
said Jimmy Flick.
No, on top of that, favorite dog, my hot take will also be a Jimmy Flick submission within the first 3 minutes of round 1.
I love and I hate you because I was gonna say Jimmy Flick, even though I picked Charles Johnson to freaking win. I just think like Jimmy Flick's submission game is so filthy.
He's nasty,
but
man.
If I had to go off another one, since you damn near did take my answer, because I even have it circled, Jimmy Flick is one of my dogs. Let me see another one. I kind of have 2 because I'm thinking about playing both of them as a dog play on DraftKings. I'm going to say, okay, I'm screwed. I'm saying it. I think Barberio breaks the slate. Round 1. And I think there's a chance he might even get the quick bonus.
Dang, going against my boy.
If they come in look, I'll say this. That man Roberio made me so much bank on the Contender Series. When I picked him underdog money line, first his KO prop, and win in first round, I made almost like $3,000 off that fight alone by itself, straight betting everyone. But I think there's a chance he could absolutely. Someone's getting flatlined, but I think this fight is going to be very similar to Chaos Williams and Al Hassan. Because originally we were both saying, oh, Al Hassan could go the takedown route, which I thought at one point something would have happened until Chaos touched him and knocked him into next year. But they both had a tough touch. I'm going Roberio. and then we'll get to the next one when you say, what is it? We're doing our bowl prediction.
The
Are we
what?
doing bowl prediction or what we do after underdog?
Just your hot take, which you
All
just
right, you
did.
go first.
Mine was Jimmy Flick. That first round
Oh, for your hot
submission.
take or your dog?
Both. He's my favorite dog,
Okay.
and that's my hot take.
So I already said Roberio is my dog, and I think he can break the slate. This is a crazy hot take. I think Kabalov could knock out Soriano round 1 if Soriano doesn't shoot. I'm telling you, man. Look, he is the best striker that Soriano has ever fought. I know, like I said, people say, "Oh, volume, style make fights. You strike." You're not saying me going up, knowing I boxed, saying, "You know what? I'm just gonna go wild on I'm just gonna shoot takedowns on a wrestler." No, I'm gonna throw my hands. Soriano thinks he's a striker. I'm sorry, you're not. You're a power guy, but you're not a striker. And if you're gonna come in there saying, "Screw my wrestling," you are going to get TKO'd. That's my hot. I'm going Kabalov. I'm probably Kabalov in draft game. I'm gonna pair him up with Roberio. I think both of them could get first round knocks.
That's fair. This card is definitely going to be a lot of fun. I think there's going to be a lot of finishes to it. So I'm definitely looking forward to having fights back.
You said a lot of finishes. How many fights is there? 12?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm going to try to be realistic. Over, under... Over, under 5.5 finishes.
Over. Instant.
Oh, okay, so let me see. I'm going to try to look at the fights now, seeing what could be 1, 2, maybe 3. Definitely 3, 4, 5. Okay, I got 6 right now, but if I change my 1, maybe I got 7.
That's about where I'm at. 7, 8. See, the ones that I think go to a decision will be for sure Nurmagomedov and Barcelos, Vieira and Pennington.
Yep.
And that's actually it. Those two for sure. I think all the rest have a potential. Even the main event.
The decision fights, possibly Imavov Strickland, depending on how the pace of the fight goes. Maybe 1. But I think the later fight goes could be a late finish by somebody. Yep. Maybe. Depends on how Strickland's cardio looks. But I'll say decision 1, Vieira Pennington, decision 2, Nurmagomedov Barcelos, 3. My one iffy fight where I think it could be a finish or it could be a decision, maybe Basharat, because he didn't get decisions. He maybe controls the fight and get rid of the wildness. But like I said, wildness brings the wildness out of a guy. So that's the one fight that could be my 7th fight as a finish.
Mm-hmm.
I think Nascimento Hernandez decision, I'm leaning that. But if any point Nascimento jumps the back and gets the back, I think the fight's over. Because he is a very talented. And then a possible 50-50. And this is where I'm considering staying away from the fight. Eubanks could win a decision if she doesn't possibly. I know you're like, no, but
yep, I don't see it. But
if she wins, if Eubanks wins, it's decision. If it's Pershuela, she's getting a TKO before the end of the fight. That's where I'm like 7, 8. But hey.
All right. Well, that concludes this this card. Man, I'm definitely looking forward to it. It is great to have UFC back. Saturday is going to be a blast. And we'll leave it there. Thanks everybody for watching. We'll catch you next week.